Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. How you guys doing? How's it going? How's it going? Good, good, good. I'm a little feeling under the weather, so pardon my voice if it sounds a little garbly. But I think we got some pretty good setups for me today. So let's we're gonna go over the NASDAQ and then ES after. So first let's go through the economic calendar. So we got to know what's happening for the week. So nothing today, right? There's nothing scheduled. Tuesday, nothing much. We have Chicago PMI right here. We have JOLTS, right? Consumer confidence, and then on Wednesday, Fed Chairman Warsh speaking at 9 o'clock, and then we have ISM at 10 o'clock, and then Thursday we have non-farm payroll. Right. So red folders, there's a couple of red folders for the week. And just a reminder, Friday is going to be closed in observance of Independence Day, right? So be mindful of that. I think it's just going to be a half day, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be a 4.5 days of trading day for this week. So make sure you guys, if you guys are swing traders or whatever the case may be, just understand that. So we might get some low volatility for the week. But who knows? We'll see. All right, first let's go through the Nasdaq. So for the Nasdaq, I mean we are just inside this. We're inside this range, right? We're inside this 5 day range between 29,300 and then 30,200. So for me today, uh, keep an eye on this 29.6, right? This was your Monday low, right? Where you can see here, you kind of found support there as well as on Tuesday. Once you were like kind of trading above, it acted as support, and when you traded below, it acted as a resistance. And as you can see, just based on candlestick formation, right, you're gaining some traction there whenever we get those touches. So for today's price action, right, pre-market, you're kind of trading right above it, and you're also finding some rejections on Friday highs, as you can see right here. Um, so the key for me, if we do see some continuation, is this 29.6, right? This is where I need to see price to hold if we do get some retest off of this level where we find support, right, for that next leg up, right? If we start to break below that 29,600, again, you want that 29,600 to act as a resistance for you to take it to the downside. Um, in between here is going to be my no trade zone, meaning that I'm not looking to, actively look for a trade between this level unless, right, unless we see some big trades, some imbalances that, that signals us that, hey, we have some big traders or, yeah, big traders that's trying to uh, position themselves, and then we'll look to follow that move. All right, we do have a supply there at 29,900, as you can see here, right? So if you kind of zoom back, this is on a 15-minute time frame. If you zoom back, right, you see those, you can see those the price kind of, have some, it makes some, what do you call that? We find some resistance at that level, right? Just keep an eye on that 29,900. If I'm looking to long, that's going to be my final target. And really, if we start to break above 29,900, watch out. I think we can see some pretty aggressive squeeze here into that 32, 30. 30,200 to 30,300. All right, so above 29.9, if we start, this is going to be a high probability setup for me. If we start to kind of break above this level and we find some acceptance, right? This to me is a bullish indication that price would want to kind of test that next supply zone. Because mind you, right, this, when was this? I think this was a Thursday move. You see this? This is a low volume node here where price just aggressively moved down. So I'm expecting for price to kind of do the same if we start to uh, find some support there, that 29,900. All right, so that's going to be for the Nasdaq. For ES. This is going to be interesting here for ES here. So pay attention to this. This is your weekly volume profile, and as you can know, as you notice here, right, we have a low volume node there from last week. All right, so this was last week's volume profile, and above that 7500 to 7530, that's kind of like your low volume node. So for me today, right, for the rest of the week, I want to see if price can either break above this 7470 to 7490, right? Because this is kind of like your supply zone, right? I kind of broke it down into two pieces, right? But really, this whole zone here is your supply zone. So 7470 to 7475, and then 7490 to 7500. This is the level where I would like to see bulls to really push through, right? If we start to break above this level and we find some consolidation here, right? That to me is an acceptance. Same setup as Nasdaq, right? A consolidation within the zone for me is a bullish indication. I'm looking for ways to be bullish, right? Looking to really target this next supply zone. I'm anticipating that there's going to be a kind of an aggressive move from 70 above 7500 all the way up to 7530, right? So that's going to be kind of like my bullish bias if we start breaking above 7500. To the downside, I really don't have much, right? So you have this value area low right around that 74110, 10 to 7420, where price really, found support. As you can see here, you found support to find support. Found support, you get a little bit of a flush right around that 7370, but then again, you didn't really close right below it, right? Reclaimed and right above that 7410 again. So this is your zone, right? This is your kind of like your range. But again, if I'm looking to be bullish, really uh my level is at 7500, but keep an eye on this 7450 to 7460. Thursday, you found resistance. Friday, you found resistance. Now we're kind of pre-market. You're kind of trading right above it, right? Watch and see if we can find some acceptance here, right? If we can find acceptance at this 74.50, I'm interested, right? You're anticipating a test of that 74.70 again, and then if we find acceptance at 74.70, again, you're just playing it level by level. 74.90 to 74.500, 7,500, and from there on, right? You're looking for that breakout. For bearish bias, again, I'll be careful, right? I think below 74.50, right? This is where I'll look for some type of, bearish price action where I'll look to play to the downside. Only, right? Only if we're below Friday's high and Thursday's kind of like rejection zone, right? So be mindful of that. So that's gonna be my level for today and for the rest of the week. Again, uh, the high probability setup that I'm looking for is a break above 7,500 because we're really looking for it to target that 75.30 level. All right, sounds good. We have about 5 minutes until the market opens. Any questions? How was everyone's weekend? Uh, let's see here. Hikes, nice. Where is SYD? That's Sydney? You from Sydney? Awesome. Whoa, nice. Okay, guys, it is a short week, right? It's Friday. Um, I believe the NYSE and the Nasdaq are closed. Futures are open, I believe, until 12, maybe 1 p.m. We have people from India as well. That's crazy. Sydney, India, all over the world. Good to hear. Good to hear. Let's see here. Not really seeing anything from Pakistan. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, just let me know what else you guys want to see on those recaps. I try to be, as informative as I can, but not provide too many like too much write up. So just like the key things that I look for. Dun, dun, dun. Hey man, possible to get your food. Yeah, so I was having trouble trying to like over the weekend. I was trying to what just happened? I was trying to do it on Motive Wave, and I was trying to open it to see if it's the correct one, but it's giving me a hard time. I don't know what's going on. I need to contact Motive Wave to see how I can extract the template. Because when I extract the template, when I open it, it's a different template. So I don't know if I'm saving it incorrectly. I'm having trouble with it. Your recaps are good enough. If you continue doing lives, maybe a short clip of what you were seeing and thinking live, or that's so pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna start to do that. That kind of like short, like in a short form, like as soon as we get into the trade. But also, if you look at the previous live streams that we did, uh, especially the one on Friday, I kind of timestamped when we took the trade, so it's easy for us to kind of go back and kind of review like when we took the trade. So we don't have to go. You guys don't have to go through the whole video. So there's a timestamp below. You can click it on the trades that we took. So there was two trades that we took on Friday. So I timestamped those, so it's easy for us to go back. All right, guys, market's open. Good luck. Good luck. Let me remove this for now. Also, if you guys haven't done already, please like the video, and subscribe if you haven't done so. If you guys want to share it to your friends, family, feel free to do so. Appreciate it. Let's grow the community. Got some big trades come through there around that 74.53. It's just a personal rule, Roshan. Based on my data, right? I tend to do poorly when I'm jumping on the trade on that first 15 minutes. So if you're journaling your trades, um, I use TradeZella, right? You can see your stats. So I have about 3 to 4 years of data, and I do poorly on the first 15 minutes. So I tend to skip it. I recommend it for those new beginners, right? If you guys are in your early journey in trading, I highly suggest journaling your trades. There are free trading journal out there that you can use, right? This is the only way you can see, visually of what you're doing wrong or what you're doing right, so you can like refine your trading. So make sure you do that. All right, let me put in my volume profile here. There's some pretty aggressive buyers here on the tape, guys. Pretty aggressive buyers here on the tape. As you can see here, right, on that blue delta, so that's a positive delta. Orders getting filled at the ask. Right, those are aggressive buy orders. Currently, what we're seeing. We're approaching the supply zone. Where I got this from. So keep an eye on that. That 29,600 on Nasdaq, we tapped it and just rocketed up. Very aggressive buyers here. Again, at 74.75. Be careful, guys. Just because it's in supply, right? That doesn't mean that you're gonna look to short it. Look at the tape, right? What is it telling you? This is very bullish for me right now. A lot of aggressive buyers, right, stepping in, and what is the reaction? Price is pushing up, right? That's a positive reaction. watching this prior high 7459, right? And then this opening price 7457 to 7459. You also have a low volume node here. So keep an eye on this level here. See if those same buyers can start stepping in and defending that level. Your VWAP is also right around that 7453. Currently finding support, right? As you can see here. You tap that and you're currently finding support. So if you guys are, for those of you guys that are trading this, right, or likes to trade in the first 15 minutes of market open, that's going to be your invalidation zone is going to be below 7457. For me, I just can't execute on this. I gotta follow my rule. Also as traders, you gotta look at things that on both side uh, of the market, right? If you're bearish or bullish. If you're bullish, that's the level that you want to defend. If you're bearish, right? We've seen all these buyers here stepping in, right? What happens, like, if those buyers, you know, become trapped, right? What are you looking for? You're looking for a break below 756, right? And you want to see this level here, right, to now act as a resistance. So right around that 7468, 7470, that's the level that you want to see. You want to see these guys, right, get trapped. So you want to see below 7460, right, where that level starts to act as a resistance, and you're looking to target 7444 if you're bearish. But if you're bullish, you want this prior high and the opening price to act as support, which, is what you're doing right now. My big trades is set at currently, it changes. But for right now, it's at 150. So the minimum is 150 on ES. On Nasdaq, it changes as well. It's between right now it's at 70, but I should put it back to 40 though, to be honest. And Robbie, it's based on how the market is executing their trades, because sometimes you know 300, 400 lots is the norm, right? And those typically happen during close to month end or quad witching week. So I typically will change that to maybe 200 lots, right? The minimum trades that I want to see is 200 lots. And days like these, right? Usually, 150 to 200 is my setting, and that's just based on what is the norm uh, of the transactions being executed in the market. Must be the rhythmic data through Lucid because I'm not getting the same bubbles at all. Probably. I don't know. I mean, I'm trading my live, and I'm also trading prop firms as well. Currently, I have the Lucid, 5 Lucid accounts, but I can't tell you if that's the case. All right, we have about 4 minutes left until the first 15 minutes is formed. 7480. Um, yeah, there's a lot of orders there, right? Let me just show it on the heat map. Yeah, there's a lot of orders there. It's not big, but yeah, from 7478 to 7480. Actually, 7482, right? You see this little small sell orders sitting there. Not significant. Anyone took that trade? That's basically the low volume node strategy, right? The bounce off of that 7460 level. That's kind of like your low volume node strategy. I didn't take it. I personally didn't take it. But that's one of the strategies that I use. Low volume node and VWAP. Yep. Oh, nice. Proth. 7480 Proth, if you're in it, right? Watch for that 7480 break. If that continues, I think you can see 7490 to 74 to 7500. You wouldn't want price to break below that 7470 level. Good entry. There's your break, 7480. Strong buyers coming, stepping through. Should be at 150. Let's check this. If you're still in it, Proth, you might want to start maybe trim some, right? For me, if I was in this trade, right, I would start taking profits before the supply zone is hit, right? Because this whole thing is a supply zone, right? I just broke it down. Or I would move my stop loss right around that, right below that 7478. Again, not financial advice. That's just how I would trade it. Nice. There's the pullback there. Again, there's another low volume node created here, right? 7478 to 7480. If you're still bullish, right, this level needs to hold for that continuation to the upside. Nasdaq there. There's a big order that came through on that 29,800, and right after that you got a little bit of a look above over that level, and then now trading right below it. So keeping an eye on that, and bought right back up. Very strong. All right, so the 15-minute orb is now formed. Now let's see. Starting to see some sellers here, guys. But let's um let's wait another. Let's see if we can be patient here and look for more confirmation. But the tape is starting to slow down. Good morning, Leo. Good morning, Nathan. Missed your Friday stream? Yeah. I mean, you can just rewatch it. You don't necessarily have to be here during the live, right? But um, you can just watch the recap if you can. Yeah, guys, we're starting to see some selling here that's coming through the tape. Again, I do not like being the first seller in a uptrending move, right? I want to see confirmation. You're seeing that push down now. So let's keep an eye on this one. You see how I'm calling the move, calling it before the move happens? But again, is it executable on my side? No, it's not. You guys know how I trade. I like to look for confirmation before getting in. To me, this is still bullish, right? You're still making higher highs and higher lows, right? Don't be trigger happy. Just pay attention. If anything, you're looking for ways to be bullish here, right? To continue this trend. But right now, it's not giving me an entry. The entry was right at that 7460 that I mentioned. Right. The reason why I didn't take the trade is because it was outside my entry criteria, meaning that it happened in the first 15 minutes of market open. Right now, you're bouncing off of that overnight high. This should be turned. I'm gonna remove this. Right. This was previous supply. Now I'm gonna have to change this to blue. Right, because as long as you're supported here around that 7472 to 7475, you're looking for more upside here. For me to be bearish, um, man, I think you need to see below 7468 to be honest. Right below this consolidation here or this high here during pre-market. I need to see it below 7468 for me to be bearish. Or right right above here. Right above here. This is where I'll look for potential short entry as well. Nope, never exactly. Unless you have multiple confirmation, unless it's your entry model, then feel free to do so. Right, this is just how I trade. I'm not saying that it can't, you know, it can provide you good profits or you can go in the right direction that you want it to go to, but for me based on my data, it fails on me, right? Being early on the trades for me, it just doesn't work without proper confirmation. Again, if you're late on this move to the upside, right? This was your first entry. This is gonna be again as long as you're above 7472 to 7475. Um, I'm gonna be bullish bias unless this level is broken. Let's look back for you guys for those of you guys that weren't here this morning during the morning session pre-market plan, right? You see this? You see that? Right? This 74.72 was a resistance, right? So keep an eye on that. Now it's flipping back into support because now you're trading right above it. So I just can't be I can't be bearish as long as price is supported at that level. Unless I see some really good confirmation above the like right around the supply zone. Took the first long on ES from the view up. Nice. But was your entry just based off of VWAP or was it based off of multiple things? Remember, you don't want to enter the trade just because the price is moving or you try to have a system, a repeatable system where you can repeat it on a daily basis where it gives you good percentage of it going, right. Footprint and low volume node. Good stuff. There you go. Starting at I'm gonna view this as trap buyers here, late buyers coming in. Let me show you on the heat map. You can see this, right? You have a seller that came through, and then you had these bids or this sellers, passive sellers that was here, absorbed by buyers, and guess what? What happened, right? Now you're trading right below it. So I'm gonna view this as buyers becoming trapped, right? Right at that 74.90 to 74.88. So understand that level that I just told you guys. 74.90 to 74.88. Potential trap buyers, late buyers that came in. So now what I'm looking for is a retest. So let's see if we can get some retest here. It's a pretty big rejection here. Let's see here. It's an aggressive move. I don't know if we're gonna get this entry here, to be honest. That's a really good rejection. Shit. Now I'm looking for ways to be short. Okay, guys, I'm looking for ways to be short now based on that information that we just got. It's another aggressive seller there. I might join this one to be honest. I'm gonna have to put a wider stop loss. I have to plan. I have to plan for this. I think 74, 74, 75 to 74, 78 is a good proper stop loss here. I think we might just miss this move. That was pretty aggressive. It just happened way too fast. Man, happened way too fast here. Ay, ay, ay. I think we're gonna miss this move, guys. Or at least I am. It just happened way too fast, right? The what do you call that? That aggressive buyer that came in that became trapped at that 7488, 7490. I mean, look at this candle, just straight down, no retracement. You got a little bit of retracement at that 7470, and that kind of where you got those sellers reloaded, right? As you can see on this big trade, 7468, way too fast. Well, because the one up here, because of my settings, right? My settings is at 150. The ones that I showed you was right around. It was like 104 and one. I believe it was like 115 or something like that. So it's just based on my on your settings. That's why I have heat map to kind of show me all the trades that's coming through. Jeez. My goodness. Roshan, can you tell me why we're looking for short, not longs? So let me give me 1 second, Roshan. I will explain that. I think I was pretty clear on what I was looking for on longs earlier and how I shifted my view based on based on the price action, based on the order flow. But give me 1 second because I'm looking for a trade right now. Starting to see, all right, so sellers are still trying, right? Currently, they have control of the tape, but as you can see, aggressive sells, aggressive sells, aggressive sells. What's the price doing? We're stalling, right? We're stalling currently. So I want to see if are the sellers done, right? Are buyers starting to step in, or is this just a consolidation for the next leg down? Watching very closely here, guys. The thing is, if I'm gonna long this, right, my target is gonna be 7468 to 7470. These sellers here, but I don't have any entry right now. Nothing is indicating that buyers are back. We're also right below VWAP, right below prior high, right below the opening price. So everything is pointing bearish to me right now. The thing is, I just can't. I don't know if I want to short. I don't know if I want to short here. Right? Where is a stop? Where is a proper stop loss? Above 7460? I don't. I think it's a little too tight, right? My stop loss would be here. This would be my stop loss. 7468 to 7470. That's where your second reload of those sellers came in. Right? Your first sellers was up here. Your second seller was up here. Was down here. Are sellers, continuing to reload at this level, 7460? Sure, it can, right? You can put a tight stop at 7460 or 74 above 7462. Your reward is, at low day, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to execute on that. Because we just had a very aggressive move to the downside. I don't want to get caught in that, in that jerk back, right? Where price retraced. So you want to see these sellers stepping in, right? Sellers, you see sellers, like red profile, and price cannot make new lows. Right? So you're seeing it right now, but you just made a new low, right? You're seeing this profile, but you continue to make new lows. So that means sellers are still in control. We just swept today's low. What I want to see is sellers coming in and then like this, buyers starting to step back in. Right? You see blue profile. We're making new high. We're making a new pivot high intraday. What's your average win rate in utilizing order flow? I mean, are you talking about, this year alone, my whole trading career? I don't know if it's gonna give you any benefit on if I give you my win rate. My win rate is typically between 75 to 80%, like 70 to 80%. My risk to reward per trade is usually I'm planning a two, you know, if you guys follow me on Twitter, or sorry, X, right? You can see, the trades that I've taken. It's usually the planned R&R risk reward is usually 1 to 2. Correct. That's right, Nathan. That's how you can view it. So here's the heat map. And how you can view that on heat map is you see these lines right here. These are passive orders, passive buy orders. And as you can see, right, sellers are coming in, absorbing those orders, but we're still making lows. What does that tell you? Right? Passive buyers are getting absorbed. Sellers are still in control. There's no reason for me to fight the trend here currently. Now we got to be careful. So for on the psychology part of today, we got to be careful of feeling the FOMO, right? Of feeling the FOMO, um, and executing based on that emotion. So be very careful. All right. Now, a lot of traders are going to feel, my gosh, I missed this trade. Uh, I think this is it, right? Ooh, the first rejection we see. I think this is it. Let's get into this, right? Be careful with that. Try to avoid feeling the FOMO right now. Be subjective. If you need to step away, right? Try to step away 5-10 minutes. Because trust me, I've had that mistake. I've made that mistake multiple times. So if you feel yourself feeling the FOMO because you're seeing the move, try to step away. That's why I mark everything on the chart, right? I mark it, and I can't execute, right, between levels. I just can't execute between levels. More often than not, that's a losing trade for me. 7452, somewhat. Yeah, that's you gotta. That was your next sellers that stepped in, right? So you had 1, 2 right at this level, and then yeah, 7452. Really 7460. We're continuing to bleed. My goodness. All right. So let's zoom out real quick, guys. Let's look at the 15-minute time frame here. Right, where are we currently? Right, on a bigger on the bigger time frame. Where are we right now? You're right in the middle of the range, right? Do you want to execute at this level, right? Do you want to execute here? Do you want to execute here? Is that what you want to do? When you know that rejections will come right up here, right? And you will potentially see bounces right below it. Knowing that on the bigger time frame, do you want to execute in the middle of the range? I just can't, right? The move already happened. So now I gotta stay patient and I gotta wait. Now my next area of interest is gonna be this value area low from last week, right? 7410 to 7415. You can also see 7420, right? That's kind of like your overnight support. So keep an eye on that as well. Overnight low is right around that 7398. Previous close of price is 7397. Nasdaq is also approaching that 29,300 demand zone. Currently, it's at 29,360. Another aggressive seller there at 7420. Now you're revisiting this value area low. Nasdaq closing in on that 29,300. Keeping an eye here. Still aggressive sellers on the tape. And another large order 739. Right, that actually got aggregated into one level. So it's between 7415 to 7420. So keep an eye on that. This might be a potential potential bottom. So keep an eye on this one. It's crazy, right? How our area of interest, right, is right around that 7410 to 7415, and where does the big trade comes, right? Boom, right at that level, literally right at that level. Potential buys. Still too early to tell. Let's just keep an eye on this. We're seeing the price, kind of reacting to it, right? So that's good. Right now, we want to see if this retest, right? Are we gonna start finding support there? So keep an eye on that. Remember what I said. I do not like being the first buyer or first seller. I want to see those trades. I want to see those big trades come in. I want to see a reaction, right? And I want to see a retest. And currently, you're finding a retest. You're bouncing off of that level, but I'm still not seeing anything. It's not clear to me yet. I mean, if you're looking to scalp it, right? You can go for a 7435, 7440 target, right? With your stop loss below today's low, which is 7409. But right now, I'm not getting the confirmation yet. Low volume on Fridays, regular train hours. Yeah, Proth. If you grab Mondays, Monday through Friday, uh, volume profile, right? If you just drag it, that this zone is your weekly value area low. So what I usually do is, right, if um, especially if we're in a range, I usually try to get the weekly volume profile. So it's not just Fridays; it's actually the weeklies. That might have been my entry. Keep an eye on this one, right? Passive buyer stepped in, 7416. I might try this here. Keep an eye, right? You see those red bubble right there? That was a passive buyer getting filled. So now they're trying to defend price here. Keeping an eye on this one. If I take this trade, it's going to be a wide stop loss. It's going to be a 10-point stop loss, right? It's going to be below low day. So position size accordingly if you take this trade. I hope we get another retest here. Man, I might have missed that. But that was it. That was my confirmation there. I'm going to wait. So how you see it on the heat map, right? Here you go. Right? So you got this large order, right? Retested that level, supported, and check this out right here. Same level, 7416. If you zoom in, passive buyer there, right? 153 got filled and pushed right up. That would have been my confirmation of an entry. If I wasn't streaming, right, I think I would have taken that entry. It's different. I think it's a little hard streaming and trying to execute a trade. I think I need to get used to this. And I would have looked to target or blow, right? The 7440, the 7445. Yeah, I'm seeing buyers becoming active here now too. Now I'm starting to feel the FOMO. Anyone catch that? You're in. Nice. I missed that. I missed that. Where are you from? Learn from AMT. Orderflow? I mean, it's just it's people from YouTube, to be honest. I didn't really have a single mentor. Jeez. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling the FOMO, guys. I'm definitely feeling the FOMO right now. Be mindful that in 7 minutes, initial balance is gonna form. So usually you'll get a little bit of a volatility at that 10:30 mark. Yeah, I'm looking for a retail. I'm looking for new buyers to start stepping in or kind of defending a support level, um, which was right around that 7420 to 7422. Right now, you're getting that bounce from that level. Um, I think I want to see one more sweep. Maybe like something like this, right? A quick move below that 7410 where it immediately gets reclaimed. I think that's going to be my entry there. If it doesn't happen, then my next level of long will be if we can reclaim this orb low, right? If we can reclaim this level here, then I'll may be interested to kind of play that, scalp trade into that 7460 and then 7470. Where I'm looking to short, right? I have two, I'm you're still inside this you're creating an initial balance now, right? Where I'm looking to short is inside this level. 7460 to 7475. That's where I'm looking for a bearish activity inside this level here. I'm bullish as long as you hold this value area low, right? Looking for ways to, to enter a trade, targeting what I just mentioned, where the bearish idea was. But you're approaching this first target there at 7444, right? The 7440 to 7444 if you guys are long from that level. So this is where you can potentially see a little bit of retracement or a little bit of rejection there. So manage your trade, please. You should be up 15 to 20 points from there, from where we saw those buyers. VWAP is at 7452. Two minutes until the initial balance is formed here. If you guys are still in longs, guys, might want to start trimming here on this strength, right? You're looking for a final target at that 7457, which is the opening price, and the prior high at 7459. Starting to see sellers coming in here. Keeping an eye here. Not some big orders, just some small orders. Right at that view up as well. Nice, Shirag. Way to go. 1030. Initial balance is now formed. Right, this is your high, that's your high, and that's your low. The high is 7490, the low is 7409. Man, this is crazy volatility, guys. Orders that are coming in are pretty large. I mean, you can see it from the footprint on the footprint side. My goodness. Aggressive buyers are stepping into here now. Let's see, what is the retracement? 618. All right, guys, this is going to be my area of interest, right? This red zone here, that's going to be my area of interest for a potential short. Watching the tape right now, currently you're seeing these large aggressive buyers that are stepping in here, right? You can see here on the chart, right? You can also see it on the footprint. Let's see if these guys can become trap, or is this going to be the launch pad area where we can move, you know, back to the top range. If these guys become trap, that's a good indication that we might see some reversal here to the downside, or continuation to the downside here. So keeping an eye. Remember the setup that we saw on Friday, right? You want to see buyers becoming trap, price moves down, right? And then you start to see red profile starts to form right below it, right? That could be your indication there. Given the volatility, I think I'm going to have a 10-point stop loss for today. $29,600 retested and kind of getting rejected there too. Jeez. Are you guys seeing this? My goodness. Very aggressive buyers coming in right now. Yeah, it's so aggressive. But remember what we saw this morning, right? It was aggressive buyers, aggressive buyers, and guess what? Got slammed down, and look what happened, right? Straight move to the downside. Are we gonna see the same thing here? Aggressive buyers stepping in, and then boom, just flush it through. Trying to be really patient here. You know what it is? It's end of the month. End of the month and end of the quarter. Missed two opportunities today. The buyer here at the low, that was this first one, or that was actually the second one. And then this 7470 seller. I'm definitely feeling the FOMO right now. Tape starting to slow down again. Keep it on this one, 7464. I'm gonna try this short here, guys. Stop loss is going to be 7469. Again, I'm in a short here. I got filled at 746125. I'm looking to grab 2 more contracts. Looking for a first target at 7444. So that's about a 20-point target, right? 15 to 20-point target. Now we really want to see an acceleration below 7452 to 7450. That's going to be a confirmation. If we see some very aggressive sellers below 7452 to 7450, that's going to be a confirmation that, hey, there's more downside to come. Because we don't want that 7450 to 7452 to start acting as a support. Good stuff, Hussein. Have a good one, man. Good stuff, good stuff. Might stream again tomorrow, so. Don't forget to like and subscribe the video, the stream. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. Let's get some likes up here. Might cut it early here, guys. Watching it here, watching this 7466, 7467. We might be a little early on this. Let's see. We just started a Discord server. I don't know. I think that's a lot of work. Maybe in the future. I highly doubt it. If we get around like maybe 200 concurrent viewers here on YouTube, maybe. There's another rejection there at that sellers that I mentioned at 7465. But again, we need to get below 7452 to 7450 for us to get that confirmation, right? Again, I'm looking to add below 7452 if I get another confirmation there. But we really need to start pushing below, push down here and make a new low. Intraday low. I don't like this. I don't like this consolidation here. Let's see some bubbles. Some red bubbles, right? Some red aggressive sellers, not those blue ones. Also just letting you guys know that 7452, 7450, that could also be a potential bounce area. All right, we're up about 7 points here. Again, I need to see some strong push here. We're testing the VWAP. Need to see sellers really step in the gas right now. Step on the gas. All right, guys, here we go. Up about 10 points now. Remember, this is where I usually start moving my stop loss to break even and start taking profits. Right? This is where it needs to break. If it doesn't break, we might potentially bounce here. So manage your position accordingly. Manage your position accordingly. This 7452 cannot hold. We need to break this. Here, 7450. Now we need to accelerate here. We really need to start accelerating here. Ooh, there's a buyer here at 7452. We need that to stay below. We need price to stay below that. If it does, we're gonna get some pressure to the downside here. Here's the heat map, right? 7452, right? There's a buyer there. I want that buyer to get stuck, right? So we can push price lower, as you can see here, right at that VWAP. So let's see. Let's see. Put that buyer in pain. Up about 12 points here currently. All right, I'm out. I'm out on that one. You got above that 7452. I don't like that. Right? So a 12-point trade, I got stopped out for about 7 points, 8 points. I might look for a re-entry here. Now, if this, right, if this 7-4, this prior high, let me just remove this now. This prior high and overnight and opening high, opening price starts to act as a resistance, I might take that trade. I might take another short. Or, right, or if we come up and test this zone here, this is going to be my next entry. Do you guys know why I took the trade, the short trade? Or any questions? Does that make sense? You made 12 points? Nice. All right. Why did I take this short? First, if you look back on the video, I said that, hey, this was going to be my area of interest for a potential short, right? I marked this area. Why did I mark that area? Because that's where we saw this large aggressive seller, right? That came in right at that 10 o'clock, right around 9:55 to 10 o'clock. This was also marked. I mentioned this right when this printed. Our first initial seller or buyers becoming trapped was mentioned at 7488 to 7490, which is where our supply zone. We couldn't take the trade because it happened way too fast. And I said, boom, there's another seller reloading at that 7470 to 7468. Again, did not take that trade. Price, happened way too fast. And another trade that we missed, well, I'll talk about this later. But then I said, hey, let's look for that retest. And as we were getting to that price, right? Getting close to that price, if you just drag it right across, you can see this, right? An aggressive buyer coming in, right? Followed by an aggressive seller stepping in. That to me was an indication that, hey, we might start reversing here, right? And that's why I took that trade. And I was looking for, honestly, I was looking for a 744 at least to get retested before pushing up. I mean, we did kind of got close to it about 4 ticks, right? You bounced right through. So again, the planned trade, the planned R&R for this one, risk to reward was, I was risking about 10 points to make about 15 to 20 points. So about 1.5 to 2 R&R, but we didn't get it. So we just got 7 points. So that's the reason why. Sellers coming in, take a look. Yeah, potentially, but I wouldn't put a lot of emphasis on that on this one now. I think what I want to see now is because you know why? Because this might be a higher low. This is your low. This might be your higher low for that next leg up, right? Again, understanding market structure. Understanding market structure. This can be like a low, a higher low, for that next leg up. So we might see 7472, 7475 to get tested now. No, it shouldn't be delayed 2 minutes. It should be delayed like maybe like 5 seconds at most. I made sure that I put it at a very low latency. So maybe refresh. My next area of interest is now here, right? At this overnight high, 7473. This blue zone here. If we're able to reclaim this, guys, if we're able to reclaim this, I am I think we might see a higher day break. Right? We're looking to finally target that 7500. So again, if we break this 7472 to 7476, I think we might see some continuation here to the upside. Which prop do I use? I use multiple props. Tradeify and Lucid. And I use my personal. My gosh, I use Chirag. Are you seeing this? This is crazy. Look at these orders coming out of nowhere. Low volume node. Where? Oh, right at this level. Could be, but it's not that big of a low volume node for me to market. All right, guys. Any other questions before I head out here? Make sure you guys like the video. I want to see at least we have about 7 likes right now. Make sure we have about 20 people watching. So let's get it to maybe 10 to 15 likes. I'll see if I can stream tomorrow. If I don't get too sick. Yeah, I tried, Nathan. I was trying to do it this weekend, and it's giving me an error. When I was trying to do it, and it wouldn't open, or it was grabbing the wrong template. So I need to contact Motivate to see if I'm doing it wrong, because I've done it before. I don't know why it's giving me a hard time now. Dumps like a truck. I like that name. Of course, of course. That's a funny name. All right, guys, sounds good. All right, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'll try to do this more often. It seems like a lot of you guys like it. Um, again, don't forget to like the stream and subscribe, and then we'll see if I'll let you guys know if I stream tomorrow. I'll update you guys on X. The area again, the area that I'm looking at for a potential trade here, right, is this level here. If we can reclaim this, right, you're looking for a break, and I'm looking to target 7,500. This is this is a trade that I'm looking for later this afternoon or for the rest of the day. All right, just mark this on the chart. 7472, 7476. If we can push right above it, look for a retest or look for big orders to come through here, right? To target 7492 to 7496 with a final target at 7500. And remember what I said about the if we get above 7500, right? This is a low volume node here, right? This is a low volume. You see this? Low. This was last week's profile. You have a low volume node there, right? Watch out for that 7500 to get to accelerate to the upside, targeting that 7520 to 7530. Okay, guys, I think that's a high probability setup that we can look for. I don't know if it's gonna happen today or tomorrow or next week, but just keep an eye on that one. This is gonna be a high probability trade. All right, guys. As always, have a good one, and I'll see you guys back hopefully tomorrow. All right. Stay safe. Peace.